Abigail. I'd love you to introduce yourself and just let the ladies know what you do and what you offer out there to the world.
So I'm a sacred sexuality coach and facilitator. I work one-on-one, also with men and women, but mostly with women, on being connected to our body, to our erotic energy, to our life force energy. I work a lot also with couples. So very excited about freeing ourselves from a lot of shame and guilt that we have around our bodies and our sexuality. And I've been working mostly in Israel and now more worldwide.
What do you notice, talking about shame and guilt, what do you notice the most that women come to you of where they're holding shame and guilt around their bodies or within their relationship or intimacy?
I think there's just shame and guilt about being a woman, actually, like in the world. I think there's everything. A lot of women actually come to me with problems having an orgasm. So then there's a lot of shame and guilt around that. So mostly, yeah, women come to me with some kind of issue, and then there is a lot holding them back there. But I would say in general, like my passion is that women will be free around everything. So it's not like it's their bodies, but also believing in themselves, being able to, walk in the world proud. For me, it's everything. Like when you go to a doctor, like, does he hold more information than you do? Does he know better about your body than you do? It's a lot about, obviously the beauty industry. It's like endless, actually, when you think about it. But like creating empowered women walking this world, yeah.
I'd love to expand on that, and I really like how you put in there around the doctors. You go into the doctor. Does the doctor know more about your body than you? And that's such a good point. Like, really some food for thought there. I'd love to expand on how you spoke about the orgasm. And so for women, like maybe shame around having orgasms or not having the ability to have an orgasm or not knowing if they're having an orgasm. Yeah, I'd love you to expand on that.
So actually, I think it's around 40% of women actually have a hard time having an orgasm. So it's pretty vast. There's women that have a hard time orgasming with a partner, and there's women that have a hard time orgasming in general. And obviously, maybe it's not obvious to most people, but a lot of it is not physical. So it's usually not a physical problem. It's more of a mental or emotional issue. Truthfully, I think that the core problem is usually we kind of live in a world that really teaches us to have a lot of control. Yeah. So control is a big issue. So orgasms are a moment where you're not in control. Your body's doing what it wants to do. It's even, it could be weird. Your face is doing all these different things and you're making weird noises. And I think in a world that really tells us like to be, I'm doing it with my body, like to take control, that our muscles are tight, where we're very much, clean and pristine, then it's really hard for some women to let go and then to have an orgasm. And I think that it's also interesting in general to say what is an orgasm, right? So a lot of it has been compared to men's orgasms. So if we go back to like the 60s where they started even, really working on women's orgasms, Masters and Johnson, if anyone has you've probably seen the show. So Masters and Johnson, yeah, they were the first ones that actually took women and put them into a lab and looked at the orgasm. And that's when they really made the graph of the orgasm. Probably most people know about that graph of like, yeah, we have, pleasure going up in our body and energy going up in our body. At some point, there's some kind of a plateau, and then the orgasm happens and the energy goes down. And that's true about men, like that very normal graph. And some women actually work differently. And then the question is, am I having an orgasm or not? What is an orgasm? So is the energy really, going out of my body, but maybe it's just an energy expansion. So I also feel like external and internal orgasms are different. So if we expand what we think is an orgasm, it could be that a lot of women are experiencing it, but they don't call it an orgasm. So that's interesting,
And just feeling the energy of that expansion.
Exactly.
But I love how you put in there around control and not feeling like, oh my God, this is happening to my body. What is it? I need to calm myself down. So in a way, we'll be suppressing our bodies, but actually feeling it all. I'm not sure if you saw recently on Netflix, Layla Martin. For those watching out there on Netflix, I think it was season 6, episode 3. Layla Martin, what a beautiful sex educator in the sexuality space, took the participants through a full body orgasm without penetration. And it was just you simply using your breath letting go of control, coming into the body and just releasing. And that's something I'm big in the breathwork space I teach with my clients, is how to use your breath in these moments when we are feeling tight and tension and under that control. Our chest is racing, our minds are tight, our bodies are really tight, and just simply just deep belly breathing of coming back into your body and just releasing and letting go and just being present. And it's a great practice to just simply just breathe deeply in through the nose and just out through the mouth, and just allowing your body to land. So if you haven't watched Netflix, or if you're curious about using the breath and full body orgasms, like that is something we can dive more into.
Yeah.
And talking along orgasms, we spoke about internal and external orgasms. And I know it's very, very different for, every woman is different. Some are more internal and some are more external. And I guess for those watching out there, if you don't know what you are, or you don't know what you enjoy most, I just invite people to just simply explore.
Yeah.
So it's like you can use your fingers and you can use your toys for internal pleasure, just the same as external as well, and just really exploring all the angles, all the boxes, all the shapes that you can of your yoni and your body, just to really see and feel what feels good and what feels nice in there. I remember like one of the first times I was maybe exploring with, years ago, like my clitoris, and I was like, oh my god, this actually feels really good, and I'm getting that. I was like, oh, I don't want this to stop, and allowing that energy to rise up. And then having different experiences when I am with a male partner or using toys, and feeling a different type of pleasure and a different type of orgasm that can come through internal pleasure as well. Because we have the cervix, we have the G-spot, and there's
more nerves there.
There's more nerves, there's more space to feel more pleasure.
Yeah.
Which I'd love to roll onto.
Okay, I want to touch upon a few things you said. First of all, I'm studying with Layla at the moment.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, in her program. So she actually talks about orgasm as more of an expansion, and she really changes the definition of orgasm. And that's, maybe a lot more women are actually having orgasms. I will say that a lot of women are focused on the external orgasm. That's fine, of course. It's easy to get to, amazing. The clitoris is there, and for some women it's very easy. For some not, obviously. But basically, I think a lot of women actually don't discover their internal parts, and they wait really for a partner, for intercourse, for penetration. To touch upon that, and that's, I think, something that I really want to encourage a lot of women to do, because it's really, I always say God is in the cervix.
Yeah, it's our magic, it's our life force energy, it's our creation of feeling.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of women, the brain gets stuck on one way to experience pleasure, and that's usually the problem. So it's, or women don't orgasm, or that it's like this one way, a certain vibrator, a certain type of touch, and then in our brain, actually, there's like that one pathway the body will always go in. So I know women that, for example, need their legs to be straight, or they need like a certain vibrator, a certain partner, and what we want is actually to expand our pleasure. So different types of touch, really exploring our inner parts, and for some women, it's not so easy to even set time to go inside, to really pleasure, to discover what's going on in there. And the body, it needs to be touched a lot in order for even the nerves to be, they actually grow. And our whole internal cervix is an amazing place that we really need to touch upon a lot for it to really experience a lot of pleasure. Yeah. And I will say that, like, regarding what you said about breath, I also do that a lot with clients. It's, we live in a world that's very, very, very masculine. And it's a lot of pushing. So even if you look at Google and you see a picture of an orgasm, it's always going to be a woman, taking the sheets, and her nails are like this, and she's pushing the orgasm out of her body. That's true about men as well. Like, it's a lot of pushing. It's a lot of this, going towards this thing that we really want, and we're pushing our body towards it. And that's actually less pleasure than when we let go, when we take a deep breath, when we really let our muscles actually let go. That's what I teach. So a lot of it is just letting go, breathing, letting it all, be much more soft. And that's actually hard for most humans. It's pretty scary not to be in control and to let go and surrender. And actually, I would even say that the pleasure inside of us is actually very, very, very intense. I don't always call it pleasure. I can say it's just intensity that's a lot for a lot of us. It's just a lot of energy that we have to deal with. And yeah, it takes time for our body to be ready for that. So yeah.
And as it does take time for our body to be ready, because like I think from my own journey, and those watching have been there for a lot of my journey, I was in so much control. I was a CrossFit athlete, I was very masculine, I was very go hard, I was very driven. And it did take a lot of time. I had a very fantastic experience, but it did take a lot of time for my body to soften and to know, like, to find safety within myself and to allow myself just to be in presence with a man, knowing I'm in a safe experience and I can go there and I can have this wild, crying, orgasmic experience that doesn't need to be like holding onto the sheets or anything, and just to feel a different way of being. And even now, like, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. There's still so many ways that you can evolve and play with our sexual energy. And the more like become very in tune with my body, but the more I'm using my sexual energy, and every morning I sit with my body and breathe just in a meditation and bring this up through me. Like, this is the energy that I'm living with now. You know, I'm bringing up my life force, my creativity, my energy, my well-being, my health, and just the yumminess in my body, like, and as I walk through my day with. But I've allowed myself to create that space for this to open. And that was part of I have a school of sensuality, and that's what I teach inside the school is how to get out of your mind, come into your body, how to listen to your body, how to care for her, and really just to be best friends with your body. So, you know, if you are a woman out there and you are always in your mind, or you've got a really, really busy life and busy schedule, how much time are you actually giving to yourself? How much time are you actually giving to your body? And this is a great moment. It's like, I remember what Katy said. She's got this school. I've got 15 minutes free. I'm going to jump on the app. I'm going to have a look at what exercise I can do. And I guide women through the process, because I talk to some of my friends who are not as open in the sexuality space as we are. And I say, oh yeah, have you ever self-touched and danced nude in front of the mirror? And they're like, what am I going to dance nude in front of the mirror and touch myself for? And I'm like, there is so much magic in the connection with your body. You know, the first thing we felt when we were birthed on this earth was skin-to-skin contact with, obviously, mothers generally. And if you can bring that touch into yourself and allow your body to feel safe and stable within, more excitement and more pleasure will come from that.
Actually, even in utero, when they look at babies, they're actually touching themselves. So pleasure is like our number one thing. We came into the world in a body, and we can experience a lot of pleasure. And for sure, like in everything you said, I think a lot of pleasure. And also, we said maybe we'll talk about female ejaculation. Like, I have a course called Gushing Goddess, and I teach a lot of women how to experience their waters, and a lot of it is about letting go, really surrendering. So it's the more we really let our actual pelvic muscles release, which is not an easy thing. Obviously, a lot of us are scared to pee or to, incontinence, but the more we actually release there, then there's a lot of pleasure, and that's also when, like, we can actually experience female ejaculation. So a lot of it is about that,
For those watching out there who maybe not understanding really in depth what female ejaculation is, can you go a little bit more in detail to that?
So around our urethra, which is where we pee from, there's actually a urethral sponge. So it's on the top part of our vaginal canal, where a lot, they say the G-spot, but that's around the area.
Feels like a tennis ball when you actually put your fingers in there.
When it's bigger, when it's already full of pleasure, you can feel it. Then it grows, and that area actually, obviously a lot of blood runs into our vagina and our vulva when we are sexually aroused, and that blood actually has serum in it. So there's water that actually goes into this spongy area. In some of the research, they also say that a lot of it sits in the bladder. So it depends. The research about this stuff is also not very clear. And basically that area fills with water, and this is not pee. It's a special kind of a female ejaculation. Or squirting. Some say that it's actually two different things. So female ejaculation will be more of like a white liquid that also comes out of something called the Skin's glands. And then we have female ejaculation, which is more of a watery liquid that can just come out of us during sexual arousal. So it's a liquid actually that in Tantra they call Amrita. So it's nectar of the gods. So it's believed that the gods drink it for immortality, for living forever. So there's obviously like a special liquid, and women can let it out. So I usually, for me, it's not with a squirting, it's more of like a drizzle, I would say, more like a river that comes out of me, really when I let go.
Yeah.
And it could be endless amount of liquid, like kind of like when you're nursing, right? So there's a lot, like the body creates more and more milk. It's the same idea. So there's more blood coming and there's more water, and women can ejaculate actually like a lot of liquid out of them. For me, it usually comes before orgasm. So it's kind of that letting go that we're talking about before I reach orgasm. And it's a very powerful experience. I think for every woman it's different. But if we're talking about like letting go, and feeling more of our animalistic side. So for me, it's one of those like real, like powerful things of just letting go. And I really feel like I'm kind of like birthing something. Like it's a very strong feeling of being my wild self, usually like really weird. I make sounds that are more animalistic. And because I'm letting go and my body isn't holding so much, then my orgasms are much stronger. So if we're holding that energy in and that liquid in, and we're doing a little bit of that tension thing, then I think our sexual energy, again, is going to be like a little bit lower than if we are really, truly, truly letting go. So it's a very powerful experience. I think a lot of women feel that it's similar to childbirth, like it's something very strong that happens to us, like we're birthing water, right? But for me, that's a really strong thing, like water, the femininity of water, the beauty of water is really, coming more into the world. So it's a very beautiful experience that I teach a lot of women.
Beautiful, and it's really, part of us is like, is that letting go and then letting it birth, letting it flow. And the majority of squirting experiences, female ejaculation experiences I've had are with partners, and it's such a beautiful bonding moment. Like I was very, very grateful. My ex-husband is like the king of squirting, and so he made a girl squirt. It just happened randomly. And from then he went on this whole journey to really explore the depths of squirting and the female anatomy and how it works. And so I had the pleasure to be like, whoa, okay, this is amazing. Like having these experiences and really releasing. And what I felt at the start was when I was coming into I was feeling the orgasm, I was feeling that energy, but I was holding on so much tension. And it was when I was actually lying down on my back, and what helped me the most was actually just standing up and holding less tension in my stomach then. So as we're standing, so the weight is in my legs, more tension in my legs, and I was allowing...
And gravity.
And I was allowing myself to release, and same using the breath work as well, and just breathing. And it does feel like you're going to pee, but it's not pee. And I think at that moment there, when a lot of girls say, oh my God, I felt like I was going to pee and I stopped, this would probably be the moment when you are coming into that female ejaculation, when you are coming into that squirting. So just let it go. And it really is so beautiful to have. I actually remember teaching a male how to make me squirt. He'd never made a woman squirt before, and I really wanted to have a release, and he really wanted to learn. So I was teaching him how to do it. We were using the 2 fingers, not a toy, and really, as you've spoken before, coming in and curling up around the sponge, and that's where we feel you can feel it, like you can just feel it. So I invite those out there listening to, like, if you've never experienced this before, it's like we said before, just go in and get curious.
Yeah.
How does this feel like? Where does this, is this feeling more orgasmic? Is this not? Is this me feeling more tension? Just using your breath and breathing. And then when I came to the moment, I was with the man. I was like, oh, yeah, up a little bit more. I need to bend here.
Yeah.
I need to breathe more. And there was just so much open communication in the space of like, okay, I know what I need to make me squirt, and he is learning. So I'm just giving him the advice, and then it all happened. Honestly, it was just so beautiful. He was like, oh, what was this? Like, how did this happen? And then so I've just taught him this trick, and then he's went on and had many fun experiences and has done the same for other women out there. So I really love the experience of full body orgasms through female ejaculation, through squirting, like not everyone has had. So this conversation is exciting. You know, you can There are special toys. They're a bit like more like dildos, but more rounded at the top, aren't they? So you can get more into your G spot in a way of if you're by yourself, and then if you're with a partner, just like Abigail has a course.
Yeah.
But just get curious, just have fun, and don't put too much pressure onto yourselves. Like, expand.
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, it's exciting to hear your story. Like for me, it's really important also to teach women that they could do it on themselves. They don't need a partner. I'll just say that I actually don't even need to be touched inside.
Oh, I have witnessed that. Yeah.
So when I have a high sexual energy in my body, so there's this really high vibration, and actually, like, I've actually experienced even female ejaculation without anyone touching my body, but usually it will be on my clitoris. So there's this spongy area. I'm actually moving my pelvic floor and really letting go. So I'm working with that pelvic floor and releasing, and that's when it comes out. The tip is actually to pee before, and then it's not pee. You're not scared of it. And I will say, a lot of people ejaculate by touching that area. I will say that, like a lot, sex a lot is this thing, and that doesn't work for a lot of women. And a lot say like, come here, but it's even more than that. Like, so it's actually touching the top part and really sliding your fingers on it. And I think a lot of men think that it needs to be really, really strong touch. It's not true. So I think it's like a lot of it, because then women tell me like, oh, he touched me and it felt like, like this crazy, it was too much, or had pain. Please don't do it if there's any pain. It should be very, very soft. And I think it's a lot of women just learning, like I don't want women's bodies to be manipulated to feel it. It's more really the women letting go, and obviously like the man being there to support her. Because then it's beautiful. It's a tool she can use whenever she wants, and she doesn't need someone specific to touch her a specific way. I don't want it to, And like you said, like it shouldn't be, I think if it's like a goal, then sometimes it runs away, but it should be like a curiosity. I think it's really beautiful to explore it. And my course Gushing Goddess goes through all the different things and the different ways to touch and the different ways to breathe and to let go, and obviously the anatomy. And it's one of those things that it's just beautiful, like another human experience. And for me, it's actually a very spiritual experience, like the female ejaculation. Because it's really this birthing, like I said, of water into the world, and it's a very, very beautiful experience for me, that letting go, and there's nothing like it, like for me. Even it's different than orgasm, like
It is. It's a beautiful, also healing. For women, especially, we store a lot of trauma in the womb from our younger years, from unhealthy sexual experiences, from all those moments we've just been in the sexual experiences, and our bodies have been like in attention robot mode because we don't know how to get out, and our body has stored so much trauma. And so squirting and having that female ejaculation through the womb and clearing your body is such a beautiful experience to have.
And water is emotion, so we know that, right? When we have tears in our eyes, we're showing emotion, and a lot of I say it's like tearing through the yoni, so it's like the yoni is crying, or a vaginal canal is releasing energy, and a lot of it really holds a lot of emotion. I actually feel a lot, like after I squirt, it's like kind of like after a good cry. So I feel like I release this like you're saying, tension or trauma, but a lot of energy just was released through the water. And it's known already, like if any of you want to, on YouTube, you can really explore all water and what they know about water today, like Dr. Emoto on YouTube. He really shows that water holds memory, and water holds energy, and water holds all of our stories. So we're really releasing these sacred waters out of us, and actually like giving it to the world, like creating, for me, it's like really bringing more femininity into the world, because it's a very feminine, water is a very feminine thing. We're from this very masculine sexuality, we're really bringing to the world this more feminine, letting go, surrendering sexuality, no goal oriented sexuality, like really this beautiful surrendering. And that's like very, very different than what we have on porn, or
and it's very different from what we've been taught, and like I say, what we say on porn, what we've been taught, and thinking sex is just this getting your hair pulled, doggy, like you said, in and out that one direction. But there is so much more of a multitude to pleasure and to experience for the female body. And I really love how you bridge the water essence with the femininity and releasing. Like the more I go along, I am very in tune with my body, but even so much more coming along. And there was mornings I would just sit and just feel, and I would just cry. And there's nothing happened as such, but I'm letting out a release. I'm just crying, letting out this water from my body. And I also have cried before during the squirting experience because it is such a beautiful release.
Yeah.
And like, if you're listening to this, if you've never experienced just sitting there and just crying for the sake of crying or having a full squirting release, maybe ask yourself, are you someone who is also so much in control? Are you very masculine in the world, which means you're very driven, very work, very committed,
which is
very
also beautiful. Yeah.
It's amazing, and we need both in life. But just imagine if you've experienced so much of this in life and you haven't experienced this feminine playfulness, the feminine essence. And it's my invitation for you to really just drop in, whether it's got gushing goddess.
Yes.
Your squirt school, I have my school of sensuality, really a moment to use these practices and set yourself some time, put some time aside, get your squirt blanket out. So I do partner with Rosie Rees.
Yes, me too.
Squirt school, so we'll put the links below. If you squirt blanket, I should actually go and get one. I have. The squirt blanket is basically, I put some B-roll in here, you just put it on the bed, and it's waterproof and really comfortable and luxury in it, and avoids you needing to change the sheets all the time. So that's another thing as well for women, if you're coming into the bedroom, there's a bit of blood on the bed, or there's a bit of my bodily fluids have come out. We're all human, we all have things going on, but you put your splash blanket down, and then you can just literally pop it in the wash.
It feels much more comfortable. Yeah, it's actually like this, technical thing, but it actually works on our psyche, and we feel much more comfortable. And the odds are that we're going to be able to squirt are actually higher, because we don't feel like we're going to dirty something. And we're more relaxed, and and we're not even scared maybe to pee. So, and then just to see, also pee is amazing fluid that comes out of our body. So to really meet our fluids with love, and to really, I'll just say that even female ejaculation, some people take it even, and sometimes I've used a bowl to catch it and then really put it in my altar. It's actually, like I said, nectar of the gods. So we can actually respect it and even put it, if we want, in our plants. And some people actually swallow it. So
really,
that may be too intense for her. Yeah.
That's why when we are maybe driving the car and you really need the toilet, so just go and just give it to the plants.
Yes.
It is just energy and release. But I love how you say that, actually, because when I've on a lot of journeys, whether I'm doing a deep breath work or after a deep intimate experience or a really deep psychedelic journey, one of my big releases is going to the toilet. So I must be someone that has that type of release. But I think my goal, and after our conversation today, my goal is to really come into my body with the female ejaculation for being able to squirt without internal stimulation or pleasure. And that is not something I have experienced. I have witnessed that, and I have seen it happen, but that's not something I have tapped in for myself, because I've always loved the experience of squirting with my partner. But life, I'm all here for exploration. Life is here to have it all. So that is something.
So I think it's a lot of working, like what you said about Layla Martin, where she teaches the energy stuff. So it's a lot of working with the energy. I'll just say that for my body, my energetic body is very, very open. And actually, during sex, if somebody pushes against me a lot or humps me a lot, that energy can actually dissipate. So everything more soft. It's a very different sexuality. Yeah. So I have to teach a lot of men that I'm with to really touch me very softly, and that's when the energy of the female ejaculation is there, actually, and that's when I can squirt without being touched. But I think it's just about setting the intention. I believe in you. It's not about the goal orient, right? So it's setting an intention and believing that whatever happens in the universe, I actually have a friend that she can even, I actually need sexual energy in my body to squirt. She can, we can invite her here right now, and she'll be able to do it, because she knows how to go up to it's theta, I think. It's different brain waves. She knows how to just do that spiritual thing, and then she releases her waters. So I've seen,
it's
different.
So
it's super powerful. And I know women on psychedelics who have released their waters. I have stories of women. I'm so lucky. I know so many stories because I teach it. So people tell me about their experiences. But being, in nature and being uplifted spiritually, and then releasing their waters. So I want to say it's not even connected necessarily to sexuality. It's something uplifting in the body, some kind of spiritual experience, some kind of higher vibrational experience. And it's this, that's why it's amazing for me, because I feel obviously research doesn't talk about these things. So I hold so much information that actually like even science doesn't know, because they tell you, you know, a woman needs to be touched like here, and I'm like, no, like I know women's personal experience. So I'm holding that much like, you know, personal knowledge, and it's beautiful. It's
really?
like so vast, yeah.
And I guess it's because it's not this type of conversation that we're having isn't very mainstream, which is why my channel is here, you know, really tapping into the differences and the reality of a woman's body and the reality of experiences that you can have. I was going to touch on something. Oh, that's it. So obviously the experience, I love the experience that you're talking about of really tapping into your body and just being here and being able to squirt. But that's like, I feel that is quite next level, and that takes a lot of commitment to your body. That takes a lot of love. That takes a lot of connecting with your relationship with your internal self and your system. And for those watching out there, maybe if you haven't had this experience just yet, probably 3 tips to help you to connect to your body would be simply just first one is connecting to your breath.
Yeah.
Using your breath, feeling your breath come into your stomach, placing a hand on your stomach. The same with your chest, connecting to the breath. The second one would just simply be connecting to your yoni.
Yeah.
Sitting in front of a mirror, opening your legs, just getting curious. Oh, what does she look like today? How does she feel? What pleasure does this feel like? I'm really connecting in with that. And then the third one is putting both those together. Using your breath, connecting to your yoni, and just feeling. And if you've never experienced this before, you're probably going to be like, what's she on about, going to sit in front of the mirror looking at your yoni? Yeah, I remember my husband came home and I'm just sitting there with my legs open in front of the mirror saying, how beautiful is she today? You know, and really like, this is my body. I am the only one with this body in the whole world. I'm the only one with my yoni. If I don't love her, who else is going to love her?
Totally.
Right? And my journey has been very deep into that process with a lot of things along the way. But really, those 3 things to help you to connect to your body, that's the homework. So take away your homework, and then the next step would be coming back into that letting go within your body of
the breath really helps to let go, and noticing when we have tension. And I'll say that for a lot of us, moving from our day-to-day life of doing is really hard to move into sexuality. Obviously, also it's in the nervous system. So our body, when we're doing, a lot of blood goes to our extremities. And slowly moving to sexuality, a lot of people, you know, don't do it slowly. So moving into like breathing, calming down, putting on nice music, and then really letting our body move the blood actually to our genitals. That's actually a physical thing that needs to happen in our really crazy day-to-day life. We need to learn how to bring, you know, lower the tension actually physically in the body, in the muscles, in order for the blood to flow to our genitals, the sexual energy to start going up. And it takes time for women. I think a lot of people don't realize how long. It really takes time, and a lot of women are penetrated too early, or they think, you know, female ejaculation has to come quickly. For me, it actually can take hours of that water to build up in me. And having that patience and having that slowness, I think, is also a very big key. And
it's like a gym workout. So when you go to the gym, like generally people spend an hour every day in the gym. You are giving your body some time. So also thinking about that, how much time are you actually giving to your body into sexuality? But also when you go to the gym, you might spend 5-10 minutes warming up. Then you'll do your workout. You'll gradually build in sets. You're not going to go straight to lift 100 kilos. You're not just going to go straight in for that squirt. You're building up. Exactly. You're building your body. You're building the tension. In the gym. And then you build into that moment. And then afterwards, you have a bit of a cool down. You breathe. You eat some good food. You care for your body. And it just relates so much over into the female anatomy and the female feelings within the body as well.
Totally. I really agree. And it's for me, I want women to know that like there is an option like that is in the world. You can squirt. I believe every woman can, by the way. But it's not like something that you have to, goal that you have to run after. It's like just the fact that you know that it's possible in your body. It can come one day when you really practice a lot, but like not, like for me, it's, not closing it off, but also just like for me, it's like knowing, I don't know, tantric sex can feel a certain way. It's not like I always have that experience, but just knowing that that exists is already very powerful for me.
And the things like think outside of the box, like from someone who has had experience in the tantric world, in the swingers lifestyle, in adult industry, having such a vast experience, and really acknowledging like what we see on Pornhub and what we see on like is generally all just staged, and it's just here
Yeah.
for a quick short-term dopamine hit.
Exactly.
But when you can also have the experience of taking the time, coming into your body, feeling more pleasure, wouldn't you rather have like I know now, having experienced it all, like that is definitely a yummy one. But
Yes.
this conversation is honestly so yummy. It's
Totally.
so nice. Like I'm literally gonna go and like try and like work on my pelvic floor, come into my breath and my body, and like try and warm, well not going to try, I am going to warm myself into feeling like I'm fit this female ejaculation without internal feelings. So I will keep you guys posted on the journey.
Yay! And if you do experience it, let me know, please.
I will, I really, really will.